What? What is this? It's Mike Matthews, the host of the longest-running self-produced daily podcast in America, and even in the other countries around America, maybe the countries on the other side of the world from America, just all over the place. It is the longest-running self-produced daily podcast, Mike's Daily Podcast. Hi, I'm Mike Matthews, and we're going to get to some interesting things today regarding, Halloween, the wanting to cancel your subscription, perhaps even how much money women are making today compared to men. Stuff you think you know, but maybe you don't know completely. We'll also hear from interesting folks like the wonderful Valentino, the parking attendant, Bison Bentley, and even Madame Rootabega stopping into area. So let me open the door for you and let's go into Café Anyway. Café Anyway. Welcome to Café Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Yes, that's what the name of this show is, and it is FF episode 2935. In the previous podcast, Mike's Daily Podcast, I had the shock of a lifetime that I had recorded 20 minutes and it got deleted by something that made me feel defeated, like the computer. It suddenly decided, hey, I'm not going to save anything you did. I'm going to make a censorship decision. And Mike's Daily Podcast. Yes, I learned that something, it's easy come, easy go, as the great George Strait once said. Mike's So Daily I just Podcast found this interesting though. Yeah! I do a video of the podcast as I'm doing it. I've held off. I've said no, I will not do any videos with this podcast. This is an audio podcast. That's where it started. That's where it'll end. And I realized that the only evidence I have that I did the podcast that completely disappeared was sucked into the void. That the only evidence is that it exists on facebook.com/Mike's Daily Podcast. So if you want to see that, it was the one from, I think, last Thursday or something. But there you go. This one is also being recorded, and there's lightning shooting up, and it's exciting because we're getting close to Halloween and people get to dress all spooky and kids get to dress in all kinds of interesting costumes. I think Beetlejuice will probably be big this year. Possibly something from the election. It'll be just a few days away from the election. And other stuff. That's right, other stuff. It could be anything. It could be what was the other big Joker? Somebody, maybe you'll dress up as Deadpool. Something from the Inside Out thing. So let's say you're done watching Disney Plus because you watched Inside Out and Deadpool and whatever else is on there, and you're done.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Oh, the podcast picture, by the way, is from 4 years ago when we were in the midst of COVID. And my lovely lady friend and I, we took a drive over to Half Moon Bay where they grow so many pumpkins. And they have a big pumpkin festival and all that. And we walked around this cool pumpkin farm, and there's some neat things there. And check it out. It's all there at mikesdailypodcast.com. So canceling your subscription is about to get a lot easier. Breaking up with your gym or a streaming service is about to get easier. The average consumer spends about $219 on subscriptions every month. And it's really awful. Late Great Basil the Boxer can tell you that it would be awful if you were subscribing to something that you're not using. Oh, how many times we've done that. So we spend $219 on subscriptions every month. That's $133 more than people realize. So it comes out to about $1,600 a year. 42% of us forgot about the subscriptions, and we kept paying for them even though they were no longer being used. The Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, they adopted a click-to-cancel rule. Yes, a click-to-cancel rule. It makes it easier to cancel a service as it was to sign up. And you might think, oh, Mike, that's not even an issue. There's so many bigger things to fish to fry in this world. Why is that in it? Well, no. I am always reminded of when I lived in Huntsville, Alabama, and my then wife was subscribing. She was part of a membership with the gym, and she wasn't going anymore, and she tried to cancel.
Is that why you're bald, Mike?
Yes, I'm bald because I once lived in Alabama. What are you even saying? So she tried to cancel, and she couldn't. When we ended up moving out of Alabama, that's what canceled the membership. So now, thanks to the FTC and this click to cancel rule, it'll be as easy to cancel a service as it was to sign up. If you signed up online, you just click to cancel. If you signed up in person, you can cancel online, or you will have to be able to cancel over the phone. If you can't, report them to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. In the coming months, businesses must get consent for subscriptions, auto renewals, and free trials that convert to paid memberships. How many times has Google tried to pull that one on you? Oh, you want this free YouTube no ad thing? Great.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah, danger. Look out, danger, stranger. It's a free trial. You just got to give us your credit card number. But it's free if you cancel within 30 days. Well, now they have to remind you. They can't just take your money when you forget. News publishers, retailers, and other businesses have argued that a multi-step cancellation process lets them take advantage of a better deal. A multi-step cancellation process lets them take advantage of a better deal. Well, people are being taken advantage of because they can't just cancel easily. And I know there are people that are very, let's just say, they don't care about the little person. They want businesses to make money. And then they feel if businesses make a lot of money, then that helps the whole country and everything. And they think, well, people just got to be smarter. And to those people, I say, what's the name of your company? Because whatever it is, I ain't going to use it. It's PG&E? Uh-oh. Americans are increasingly underwater on their car loans. I was thinking about that today. How much is a car these days, a used car? Because I've always been hearing the prices going up and up and up, and the supply chain is all bonkers, and you can't get a new car, or you can't get a used...
Hey, good looking. We'll be back to pick you up later.
You can't get a car that you can drive around and talk to people on your Mr. Microphone and say creepy things like that. Remember that commercial? A growing number of Americans with auto loans owe more than their vehicles are worth. The average amount owed on so-called upside-down loans climbed to an all-time high. It's at like $6,458. A year ago, that was about $1,000 less, a little less than that. A growing number of consumers being underwater is another indication of pressure on the American consumer. That's possibly going to be a big effect on the election. As we go outside of Café Anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in podCastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica. Outside where all these pumpkins are. Pumpkins. Did I not say the extra P in there? The pumpkins. 1 in 5 consumers with negative equity owe more than $10,000 on their auto loans. Wow.
Anyway.
Café Anyway. Consumers can counter upside-down car loans by holding on to the vehicles for longer periods. You should ensure regular maintenance is done to avoid additional drops in value and costs. Yeah, I got to get my tires checked. Regular maintenance. It's a thing. Pay attention to that little sticker you get stuck in the upper left-hand corner of your windshield, letting you know when you got to get an oil change and that kind of thing. And, today I was thinking, so here in the Bay Area, we have a lot of cars that get all their windows tinted. I thought there was a law about that. Apparently people get the passenger side, the back window tinted, but when they get the front window tinted, that's odd. That's saying, I can't communicate with you. I don't know if you see me. For example, today I was at a gas station taking advantage of some of the lower gas prices I've been seeing lately. And there I was. I needed to go around the island to get to the other side because the pump, that wasn't the pump side. And I don't trust this particular gas station. You can't pull the pump far enough to get the nozzle in. So I see a car wanting to come in, and I look at
Mike
them.
Is awesome.
Oh, thank you. And I got all that information, by the way, from that guy right there, Rob Black. I produce his podcast. He's heard on AM 1220 KDOW weekday mornings, and he's on Cron TV Monday through Thursday in the 9 o'clock hour. But yeah, so I was able to see her because she did not have her windows tinted. And I pointed, I go, do you want to go here? And I, pointed like straight down, saying like, here, this spot. And she shook her head, yes. And I go, and I pointed at myself. And I don't know sign language, so I'm just making up this verbiage with my hands on the spot. And I pointed to the other side of the island, and she shook her head. So I was able to get. She's probably like, just whatever, dude, get out of the way. So it worked out. It's all helping out. If you don't get your front window tinted, stop it. You're not that important that you can have all your windows tinted. That used to be just a thing for the what were they called? The Secret Service or whatever. Secret Service? CIA? I don't know. Some kind of... The Men in Black. Was that it? Will Smith driving by? With Tommy Lee Jones? Okay. So Americans are in debt because of things like this. American households are now sitting on a record $17.8 trillion in debt. And how much of that is on credit cards? How about $1.14 trillion? And those credit cards... It's a trap! It's a trap, everybody, a trap, remember. Because those tend to have relatively high interest rates. Now, there's also this thing where people want to buy houses. 20% down payment on a home now costs 83% of a year's income for a family ready to buy a home. Now that is up 65% from 2016. So that's an interesting thing because remember 2016, who got elected? A Republican, Trump. And here we are at 83%. So it's just 65% in 2016. It's 83% in 2024. Does not look good for Kamala. So the other thing is Disneyland. And if Trump is president, I don't know if he's going to do anything about Disneyland. Because you saw what happened with Ron DeSantis trying to do stuff with Disneyland. Trying to go against their woke policy and all that. Disneyland is going to debut a Lightning Lane Premier Pass. They're doing that this month. And it will cost $400 on top of whatever you are paying to get into the park, which is something like, is it like $200? It's over $100 for sure. So you're now going to pay
makes music.
$400 extra dollars to get on that ride much faster so that people will be jealous. And then you'll say, I've got a peaceful, easy feeling, 'cause I'm on the peace train, riding on the peace train. I just wanted to do that little song, that little medley, to see what would happen if I mashed up Eagles with Cat Stevens, 'cause I wanted to see what happens when Eagles and cats get together. That'd be an interesting thing. Hey, it's the Eagle and Cat Show. I went down a weird path, didn't I? This was some of the stuff I was talking about on the podcast that got deleted yesterday. You're welcome. Maybe it should have just stayed deleted. So $400 to get on those rides faster. Wow, is it worth it? Hey, Tay. Someone in his mid-50s should not be saying something like that. Target is partnering with Taylor Swift on Black Friday for 2 retailer-exclusive releases. One is the official Eras Tour book and a new anthology version of her latest album, The Tortured Poets Department. It's going to be on vinyl. as people like the vinyl. And I think also CD, but not cassette, sadly. So that's going on with Target. Remember when it was Walmart would cut all these deals with very famous country artists, I remember, Garth Brooks and such. So Target is trying to do the same thing. Or as Kristen Wiig called it, Target. That is Chewy, actually, doing his best Kristen Wiig impression. Let's see, one other interesting thing. We're talking about famous women, fantastic women in comedy, like Kristen Wiig. How about women working? How much are women making in California? Last year, California women working full-time had a median weekly earning of $1,118. So that was 89% of what men were making. Their median weekly earnings was $1,244. Nationwide, it was a little bit less. They were making $1,005 a week versus $1,118 per week in California. So making a little less, about $113 less. Comparisons are on a broad level and not controlled for difference in important determinants of earnings such as age, occupation, and educational attainment. Let's see here. That was from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And they got some graphs here. I was trying to interpret them really quickly, but this brain of mine is not working fast enough. So we'll just move along and talk about this very interesting thing. I'm always fascinated because I work in the radio business. Yes, laugh at that. Laugh. Feel free to laugh. It helps the healing. The thing is, when you work in radio or any show busy type thing, or probably any job in the world, there's always someone with an ego. And you work with a lot of egos in radio because those are the ones that get behind the microphone and think that they can say whatever they want. I guess I'm behind a microphone saying whatever I want, but there are some that just I don't know if they have a true grasp on reality. And some of the things they complain about when they dump on the people that help them to get on the air, it is pretty darn funny. And really, honestly, it's an embarrassment for themselves. If they go back to think about what they said to people in their ego-ness and their big-headedness and their idiocy-ness, that they would probably go, ooh, I owe that person a beer. I owe that person a mortgage. I'm always amazed. I sound like I speak from experience and from something that happened very recently that I experienced, and you're right.
What was that all about?
I can't go into what that was all about, sir. But I will tell you this. Somebody is here. Look who it is. Hello, my gosh, it's Madame Rootabega. Oh, that was very interesting. I like to dance. Ooh. Excellent. You know, dancing is great. It's great exercise. And you end up getting your steps in. I discovered one time. I had my step counter, my pedometer on me while I was dancing, and I got something like 3,000 steps dancing. It was amazing. Do you like to get your steps in? Yes. Do you like to dance next to pumpkins? Yes. Do you ever say the word pumpkin without the second P? No. Good. Something to avoid. Oh, by the way, speaking of mortgages, the top areas for mortgage-free ownership. Study reveals the areas in Canada with the most mortgage-free ownership. Why Canada? People email me the craziest things. This came from Journo Research. Journo Research?
Hi there, Mike. How are you?
Thank you for asking. Fine. So let's see. Did they break this down in a way? All right. We'll go with the top 5. Windsor's at number 5. For those of you in Canada, hello. Number 4 is Victoria. Number 3, St. Catharines and Niagara. Number 2, Peterborough. And number 1, Thunder Bay. The number of people that are mortgage-free homeowners. There's the most amount of people without mortgages in Thunder Bay in Canada for some reason. Okay, thank you. Casivu, Casivoo, sent that to me. Look who else is here.
Hello, Dave Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And it's Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Michael, that was really great stuff there. And I think...
What is the matter with you?
I have no idea what is the matter with me. Mike, I feel really self-conscious now.
Yeah, self-conscious. Do you know that? There's nothing wrong with you guys. You guys are really, you're on, spot on, as the British would say. Hey, here's an interesting quote that is just going to suddenly appear out of nowhere. Let's listen to it now, shall we?
257,000 votes. This happened last week. A judge ruled in Georgia that are missing from the 2020 election. This just came out. You're behind your sheet.
So your source is trust me, bro? That's your source?
So your source is trust me, bro? Let's just say that should not be our source. Trust me, bro. That was Michael Lindell. Michael was going a little off the rails there and yelling at a 12-year-old kid whose name is Noah. 12-year-old kid. Yes. So I can't wait till this election is over. What do you think about all that? Here's the phone number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes.
He really should just drop it with the crowd sizes and the people.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
You can't drop your obsession with crowd sizes, Hal? And then you got crowds where people are fainting. That's not good either. But hey, I wonder who actually fainted is my question. And were they people that maybe went to one too many Trump rallies? And they just were like, oh, this is too much. Boom, thump. It could be, you know what? For some people, too much of a good thing is not a good thing. So all these things to ponder, but we can't ponder now. We got to go to the mainframe and hear all about Mike's Daily Podcast and how to listen to other past shows and catch the podcast picture and all that other fun stuff. We go to the mainframe and hear from A-Frame. Thank you for listening.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.